Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and Jocelyn will be down here in a sec. We're just trying to get everything together. The computer just restarted itself about 5 minutes ago, so I'm trying to get everything working here. So I do apologize for the late start, but I hope everyone's doing well and you're having a good Saturday morning, getting ready for all your travels. Jimmy, is the video working? It says no video yet, so hopefully it'll start. A few things I want to talk about before we get started on the questions. We'll say good morning to everybody, wherever you are in the world, whether you're in Australia, which is evening time, or here in the U.S. or wherever. So a few months ago, a couple months ago, I actually asked our fellow travelers, "Hey, when do you prepare for your trips abroad for the summer?" And the majority of people put in March as their big month to really start preparing for their study or their time abroad and their trips abroad and stuff like that. So for this March, I wanted to let you know that we're actually going to up our videos and our live feeds in March. So that instead of being every Wednesday and Saturday, we're going to put out new videos every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we're going to try to do some, and we're planning on doing a live feed at least once a week. So watch through there while on the live feed announcements, and you should be able to get some of those on there so we can answer your questions to help you prepare for travel. Because I know it's not always easy to get your stuff all set up. So there is that. Okay, so Umundo Pequeño writes, "Hey, we're in the southern hemisphere. We're in summer. Yes, you are. We are not in the summer here in February in the U.S. It is a little chilly. If you can't tell, I have lost my voice from being ill and stuff like that. It's been an exciting week since our last chat, even though it's only been since Wednesday. Liam got whacked in the head at school by a ping pong paddle, took a big gash out of his head, so he's got a few stitches. So things are a little crazy this week, but we've had a good time since then. Hey, from Northwest Arkansas, good to see you. And in front of the first Walmart ever built, that's kind of cool. So I'm scrolling up to see if we had any questions yet. So Deathlock Rocks, good morning, Professor Walters. Going to San Diego for 2.5 days in March. What are the top things to do there? The San Diego Zoo is expensive, but it's well worth it. The Gaslamp District's really cool. You could go to Tijuana over for the day, but I'd probably go up to La Jolla and see the beaches and the sea lions and stuff like that when you are there. That'd probably be a better use of your time. Brad is heading to Prague and Budapest. Any suggestions? Eat the goulash, drink the beer, enjoy the architecture. It won't be as cheap as you think it's going to be. I'll tell you that one right there. But both cities are really cool to do. If you are going to take the tram up to the Buda Castle, make sure you're paying attention to your wallet. Same thing in Prague because a lot of pickpockets work on those things. So there is that. So morning, Franco in Argentina. Good to see you. Buenos dias. Good to see you on there. Sydney asks, "Hey, I'm going to Rome in March. What's a good souvenir to bring home for a baby? Maybe something they keep for a while." What we've actually done is we'll find like blankets, or actually we'll get a little, like for a girl, we'll buy a dress, or for a boy, we'll buy a little outfit, like a t-shirt that they can wear big when they're little, and then it kind of grows into it like a size bigger or something like that, so they get some more time out of it. But if you're looking for something a little more like special, little kids do like things like, Caleb really loved his Leaning Tower of Pisa and his little Colosseum. They sometimes like those little scenes that are there, so they can like have their toys and play in there, so they get to use it for a while. But I will say, souvenirs you're giving to little kids, don't expect them to last, because most of the time the parents you give them to usually pitch them, unless the kid actually went there and there's some kind of sentimental attachment. So there is that. Let's see. Berkey Esmer. Sorry, Berkey, if I'm saying your name wrong. Hey, I've been following your channel for a while. Thank you very much. Going to Thailand, Riga, Vilnius, Kaunas, and Turku. Any significant suggestions? I would say Turku, go see the castle. If you're gonna go there, hopefully you're going there in the summertime. Vilnius, it's all about the churches. Riga, the like occupation museum, that's really kind of a cool thing to see. The really cool, good party town, like a mini Vegas kind of thing. Tallinn is probably the prettiest city of all of them that are on there. So a good time going around there. Helsinki is where you're going to blow your budget, though. I'm going to tell you that one right now. So there is that. Let's see. Moving on. So we got some more stuff. All right. Okay. I just got about 50 things that just popped up because maybe my service is going slow. Um, hey, Thomas in the Champagne area right now. Good to see you. Good to see you. Um, so MV writes, "I'm going with a program abroad for about a year, and I have the choice between India, Senegal, Ecuador, or Brazil. Which one to say is your favorite of all of them?" I think any of them you do, you'll have a very good time. You'll have a lot of fun with it. I'm a big fan of Brazil personally, but I speak Portuguese. Ecuador is a really great time. I mean, I would probably go Brazil 1, Ecuador 2, India, Senegal. But I mean, you can't go wrong with any of them, so you'll be fine there. Milwaukee, you got some snow. We did not get snow down here in Illinois, so I hope you are staying warm. Um, Touche Turtle writes, greetings from, that's the snowy Milwaukee one. Is it worth seeing Neuschwanstein Castle? Yes, actually, it is worth seeing it, even though it's like only about 150 years old. King Ludwig, Mad King Ludwig, really made it like fantasy stuff inside, so it is like crazy to go in. But what's nice is you can go to Neuschwanstein, and then there's a town called Fussen that's right down there, so you can get kind of like your little like German village feel when you are there. So you can do that. So that's nice. Um, Luna Fox, we're going to Tokyo soon. Where else should we go in Japan? We're there for 2 weeks. I would definitely go to Kyoto. Check out Osaka as well. Those are probably two of the easiest ones to do when you are there. Hey, Geo Scholar from Atlanta. Good to see you. Um, always love the Atlanta area. We fly through there all the time. We're actually going to be filming down there in Atlanta and Athens later this year. So we'll have some videos from around your neck of the woods. Dave Mangle writes, Porto or Algarve in July? I think Algarve might be a bit too hot. Plus, Porto seems less crowded and more affordable. Yes, on both of those accounts. Porto, you're going to get a lot more Portuguese culture with the port wine and stuff like that, and the azulejos, the blue tiles. Algarve, I mean, it's a beach vacation. You're going to go to the beach. You'll be with a bunch of other tourists that's there. And I know every time we've gone to the Algarve, most of the time I'm the only person I've met that speaks Portuguese because so many English or so many Brits and Germans have moved down there. So there is that. Let's see. So Arthur writes, going to visit Rome in March, is it true that the line to the Roman Forum is way shorter than the Colosseum? And the ticket bought at the Roman Forum is valid for both sites. Depends on the ticket you buy if it's valid for both sites. But yes, the line for the Forum is significantly shorter. Like, that's easy to walk through and stuff like that. The Coliseum's got the really much longer one. You might look at pre-booking your tickets so you get a time ticket and you can get in earlier. So there is that. Carl writes, my girlfriend is heading to Bermuda for a week. Is it safe? I would think so. You got any place you go, you can be safe or you can't have issues. So don't be, if they're a good traveler, you should be okay. Pedro Braz, hey Pedro, good to see you, buddy. Hello, Mark. Boa tarde. When am I going to the Azores Madeira? You'll be fine. We're trying to figure out when we're going to get there. There is a lot more flights actually now to the Azores Madeira from the U.S., so we're trying to get there. We are working on that one. Let's see. Oh, 16160 writes, how did you come up with the name Wolters World? Well, Wolters is my last name. So I'm Mark Wolters, and so it's like alliteration of Wolters World. So let's see the world from my perspective, or our perspective as a Wolters family. I know I was debating against a few other names and stuff like that, but that was the one that kind of stuck. And people always say, "Hey, Walters, how are you?" I'm like, "I'm fine." They're like, people are like, "Well, his name's Mark." Yes, it's Mark. It's Walters. You can call me whatever you want. If you're watching the videos and I can help you, you can call me whatever you want. The baldish guy with the ponytail that's a little chubby, I'm happy with that too. So we have that as way. Carlos Garcia writes, "Hey, Mark, Carlos here from Atlanta. Good to see you, buddy. Love your videos. I'm looking to go to Normandy. What's the best way to get there from Paris and any pointers while in Normandy?" So we have a bunch of videos on Normandy to help you out with the D-Day museum or the D-Day beaches and the museums there. There's tons of stuff there. Bayeux makes a good base because there's a lot of tours that leave from there. But you're just going to take a train from I think it's Saint Nazaire. I can't remember because we were there a couple years ago. I think it's the Saint Nazaire, but there's a train that goes straight to you can go to Rouen or not Rouen. Well, you can go to Rouen. That's a really cool city, but that's kind of far to the east of it. But you can take a train about 2 hours. Then I would rent a car so you can get around and see everything you want on your own time scale versus doing on a tour. But you'll be okay. I will tell you, I would definitely recommend going to the Omaha Beach Cemetery because the visitor center there is underground. It's been completely redone the last few years. It is extremely moving, extremely powerful place to be. So I mean, it's a pretty amazing thing to check out. So that's what I would say. Geoscholar Mark, what's your perspective on Nashville, Tennessee? Actually, a really fun time. We have a couple videos from there from a few years ago. But I know a lot of people that go, "Oh, it's the country music capital of the world." Well, yes, but don't think it's just country music there. There's a lot of hipster stuff there. The city is growing in leaps and bounds. I mean, I was there like 3 years ago. The city's completely different. It's grown so much. So it's kind of like the hot place to live and move in like the middle of the U.S. and the kind of like the north-south, the northern part of the South. So it is a kind of a really cool place to be. It's really getting spread out a lot. I don't know if they're doing enough to really work on the traffic. It's kind of turning into like a mini Atlanta in terms of the bad traffic stuff, but it still is a cool place to go. Broadway with all the live music, and actually you can go hear bands at night or during the day. But the people playing during the day on Broadway are like normal people that walk in and say, "Hey, can I play just for free?" And they just play music for free, and then you can hear some really cool, talented people play. It's really kind of a cool thing. MV writes, "Hey, I'm also a solo female traveler. I'm wondering if Western Asia is safe. India, Cambodia, Sri Lanka for a woman. I know conservative clothing help, but any other tips?" Yes, I would definitely say that the conservative clothing, I would definitely do as much research as you can when you're going to anywhere as a solo traveler before you do go. So, and what's cool is there's a lot of blogs out there that actually focus on solo female traveling. I would definitely look those up because they've been to those countries and can give you like some firsthand knowledge of it. I have not been to them, to India, Cambodia, or Sri Lanka, so I can't give you like personal stuff. But I know Jocelyn's got some videos on just general female solo travel tips and stuff like that. So I would definitely look those before you go. Locks writes, "How are you able to work in so many countries?" Well, it's not. I am a professor, so sometimes I'll go and do guest lecturing in different places around the world. So that's helped out a lot. Like I've done that in Austria, I've done it in China, I've done it in Brazil, I've done all kinds of places. Okay. Now wait, there was one. I'm sorry. The things are going by. I don't know what you guys see because what's on my screen versus what's over here on this is different than what's like popping up on my screen. So I'm sorry for getting a bit behind. Um, let's see. Lobtech Superstar, Vienna and Prague, best places to see. We actually have top 10 site videos for both of those. Just put in Vienna Wolters World or Prague Wolters World. Give you a lot of tips on there. Some are a little bit older. I'm refilming in Vienna this summer, but you'll have a good time. But I mean, I would say the Schönbrunn Palace in Vienna and Prague, just enjoying the city. That's the best part, just walking around. Um, So Kara Renfro writes, "Hi Mark, I was in your last live, but I don't think you were able to get to my question." This is actually one of the things we can't get to everybody's question because that thing over there goes by so fast that it's hard to keep up. So I'm like actually scrolling up and trying to get through more people because I had a few people write to us this week and they were kind of upset that I didn't get their questions. And sometimes it's hard to get to them all. So we do apologize if we don't get to your questions. Sorry, but put them back in there and stuff like that so we can get to them. But anyway, Kara writes, "I was interested in knowing what Caleb and Liam's favorite travel destinations have been. The boys have liked more outdoor adventure stuff, so Iceland, Iceland, Costa Rica have been really big. Liam really liked Belize and Guatemala, and he's like, can we go there for my birthday?" I'm like, I wish. So kind of like Central America has been a really popular thing for them, or outdoor stuff like Iceland. That's been more there. So that's one thing for when you're traveling with kids. They can't do more than like one, maybe two museums a day, so don't overdo it with them because they'll burn out. Make sure you have stuff for kids that's more activity based. So here's that. Mark Rain, hi Mark, longtime viewer. What were your three favorite cities in the world, and who are the friendliest people? Thanks, best of luck. Well, thanks Mark for watching for a long time. I think some of my favorite cities in the world: Paris, Prague, Rome, Tokyo. Actually, I like João Pessoa. Yeah, João Pessoa in Maceió in northern Brazil. Those are all really good ones times for me. Actually, for like smaller towns, I like going to Bamberg and then the Harz Mountains in Germany. So I've got a lot of favorite ones. Like I don't have a problem going back to those places. That's why you'll see like I'll have videos of what to see and do, and then there'll be a bunch of like advice videos from a certain town because I really like them and I want to go back, but I don't have any new filming to do there for that city. But I can film some advice videos, so I do things like that. So I hope that helps, Mark. Let's see. So, Oskan writes, "Hi, Mark. Love your channel. Thank you. Always watching. You're super informative." You're too nice. Will be my first time traveling to Mexico. What's a good place for a husband and wife? Honestly, I would say do Cancun. I mean, I know it's super touristy, but the thing is, there's the tourism infrastructure. It's got the relaxation of the resorts, but also has the history to see all the Mayan ruins like Chichen Itza, UNESCO World Heritage Sites. You can go to Tulum. There's all Coba. There's all kinds of great stuff to see there. So you can do a nice mix of like fun and romance and Mexico and history. So that's kind of the easy way to go about it. Let's see. Isaiah Torales, what do you think about Airbnb by Disney? Here's my, sorry, I'm trying to hide some bad comments on here. So I would say if you're going to go to Disney, if you're going to be going into the actual Disney parks, sometimes it's better to stay on property for the nights you're going to be there because you can get into the parks earlier, like an hour earlier than if you did it on your own. like if you did an Airbnb, and then you can save on the parking and stuff like that. So that can help out. Sorry, more of the fun people. See, that's one thing we're starting to get big enough that we get like random people putting naughty words on there. So come on. So what we usually do is we'll actually stay on property for like the morning before and the morning like the night of the days we're going to the parks, and then after that, then we'll go do an Airbnb or something like that just to save the money that way. Let's see. Wyatt asks, any advice for Moscow and Tokyo? Both of them are huge. And so when you're going to visit those cities, I would definitely visit like a district of the city and focus on that. And then the next day do another part, because otherwise you're spending so much time traveling around that it does make it a bit tough to really get a good feel of it. So focus on one section, see that. Next day, focus on another section. That can be really helpful, okay? Robert Reedling, love your work. Thank you. Any thoughts on Tunisia? I'd love to visit the Bardo Museum and spend 3 nights in Tunis flying from Rome. Well, I've been to Tunisia. I really like Tunisia, but that was before the Arab Spring and the unrest that's there. So I'm not sure how it is right now. But when I was there, I found the people in Tunisia to be amazing. I mean, the people were so friendly, so helpful. I mean, I was there with an old girlfriend at the time, and yeah, I mean, when you're walking through the markets, it can get a little interesting. But there, I mean, they weren't disrespectful or anything like that. They're like, guys, come, your wife, your girlfriend is very beautiful. I'm like, thank you very much. They're like, okay. And they'd walk away. And what's cool is in Tunisia, they would let us go into the mosque. They was like, oh, just take your shoes off and come see the mosque. And they would explain Islam to you and all this stuff. And it was really kind of a cool thing. So I really liked it. I don't think Tunis is as good as some of the other places. I mean, I really like going to El Jem where they have the Colosseum. That was kind of a cool thing. And you have these things called louages there, which are like mini taxis, basically a dude driving as fast as he can down the highway. It's a little scary sometimes. So there's that. San Juan, I teach marketing. So if that helps you at all. Let's see. Okay. So Ryan Fay asks, hey, any day trips from Madrid or Segovia or Toledo? Here's the thing is if you're going to be using a place for a base for any place we're going to go, you want to see if there's a lot of day trips you can take from there so you can get like that apartment rental and save yourself the time, money, and energy of trying to keep packing and switching around. Madrid makes a great base because you got Madrid itself. It has 3 major amazing museums like the Prado and the Reina Sofia and stuff, the ThyssenKrupp Museum. You have those. But then you have easy day trips to Segovia, Toledo. If you want to be a little more adventuresome, take the fast train, 2.5 hours. You can go down to Sevilla, 2 hours. You go to Cordoba. So you do have a lot of options when you are in Madrid. So when you are there, give yourself some extra time just so you can do the day trips and you can leave your luggage like out instead of having to pack it up and waste time traveling and unpacking and stuff like that. Let's see. Next up. What are your so Wyatt also asked, what are your favorite big 3 US airlines? My Delta's my favorite. That's we fly with the most. After that, for US airlines, I don't really have a preferred one or one that I like a lot. Southwest been fine. I've flown with them a couple times. Usually, but for me, I like Delta. I like British Airways. They're also good when I've flown with them. So those are 2 ones if I can fly, I try to stick with them. Here's an interesting Mike. Mike writes, hey, Mark, how expensive is a trip to the U.S. or how much money would you recommend to save for about a 2-week vacation? Okay, so first off, depends where you're going to go. If you're going to stay in New York City, you're going to be spending $200 to $300 a night in a hotel, okay, because they're really expensive and small and stuff like that. But if you're going to be going like other places, I would budget between $125 to $200 a night for hotels. And then going out to eat, if you went to like a sit-down restaurant, they're going to be between $10 and $20 for the plate per person. So that gives you an idea there. Gas, it's about $2 for a gallon. So like 60 cents per gallon or per liter for gas. You're going to be driving around. Rental cars I find in the U.S. are pretty cheap as well if you look around for it. So I hope that does help you. Let's see. Oh, there's super chat. Our first super chat of the day. Thank you, Milton. I appreciate that. Milton Mendonça. See, I'm going blind. My glass. I got to clean these. We'll be visiting the Faroe Islands in April. That is freaking cool. And we'll hop over to Bergen, Norway afterwards. Any tip on Bergen other than the fjords? Un braço. Obrigado, meu amigo. So if you're going to be going to Bergen, that is the fjord stuff. So make sure you obviously do the boat tour. Also, look at doing some hiking when you're there. The town itself's kind of cute. But what's cool is that you can take like a little train ride out and then back in because you have to go out. If I don't know how if you're going from Bergen to Oslo or you're going back to Bergen and going out there. But if you can get out around the city, that's kind of cool to do hiking. But it really is. I mean, it's like, oh, look at the cute little town. But it's all about hiking the fjords and walking around there. So I hope that does help you out. Okay. So, Almina Blakely writes, Hi, Mark. I'll be traveling to Munich with my 11-year-old daughter. It will be appropriate to take her to a beer hall. Yeah. I mean, we take our kids there all the time. The thing is, I know in the U.S., when people think bar and beer, they think, oh, it's adults only. Well, the thing is beer's a normal thing in Germany. So if you go to the beer gardens, you'll see families drinking there. I mean, the kids aren't drinking the beer. They'll drink in like Fanta or something like that. They're drinking and they're eating and they're playing in the dirt and soccer and stuff like that. And the parents are having a beer and things like that. It's the same thing in the beer halls. I mean, the Hofbrauhaus is very touristy, but it's fun. And when they do the chicken dance or the da 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 da, they do that. It's kind of a fun thing to do. So you'll be okay. Don't worry. I would say like maybe not later in the night because then people like the tourists come and get a little too drunk. But a lot of the beer halls are just like normal restaurants that just have some really good beer. So you'll be fine. So Wandering Marine Veteran writes, I had Airbnbs in New York City area for around 50 to $70 a night. Yeah, you can find deals like that. That is true. But I just like to give people a more general, like if you're going to be doing hotel stuff, because Airbnbs, this is one thing I think I should tell everybody. When you're reading the Airbnb reviews, you need to read them with a grain of salt because the reviews that are getting put on there, those people are getting reviewed as well. So they don't want to say anything bad in case that person gives them a bad review and then people won't rent from them. So I would always say is take whatever the Airbnb average is, knock it down a star or so because people aren't really telling all the truth. So you really got to read between the lines. Like we had one we stayed at in New England, and the reviews were talking about how attentive the hosts were. The thing was, they were so attentive, they were like spying in the windows and stuff. So it was really uncomfortable experience. So definitely read through those. Hey, from Malta, good to see you. Dante, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Will Evans asks, opinion on Bath, England. Jocelyn's favorite town in England, one of my top 4 in England. I mean, York's my favorite one, then probably Bath, London, and then it's tough to say. I would say, I don't know how I would put like seeing the stately manners would be my 4th. So those are my best things there. But Bath is really great. Yes, you can see the Roman baths. That's worth a half a day. But when you walk around and see the Georgian architecture there, it's awesome. And Will, we have a what to see and do in Bath video that can help you out. Okay. James writes, hey, any recommendation for first-time travelers going to Mexico or the Caribbean? Bring really dang good sunblock. Okay, because what you're going to buy there is going to be overpriced and probably less effective. So get your stuff from home and bring it with you. It just saves yourself a lot of time. Also, remember, think island time. Take your time. Realize things are going to take time, and you'll be a lot more relaxed when you're there. Son of Thomas More. Oh, wow. Speaking with the English history. Is Poland cheaper than Portugal? Yes, Poland is cheaper than Portugal, I feel. But they're both affordable. It's not like one's expensive, one's cheap. They're both affordable options for vacations. And I've gone to both and have a good time at both. Heather writes, hey, Mark, me and my boyfriend love watching your videos. Do you have any advice on visiting Ukraine? We're going in April. I have not been to Ukraine. I've had many students there that have been trying to get me to get there for years. I just haven't had the chance to. So sorry, Heather, I don't have anything. But do let me know how it goes so we can get ready for our trip there for hopefully in the future. Let's see. Playboy X, I've never been to another continent. I'm from New York, originally from California. That's totally okay. There's so many cool things to visit. If you started in California and now you're in New York, I mean, you've crossed over a lot of the U.S. and see a lot of really great things. And that's the thing is when you're traveling, you don't necessarily have to go abroad all the time. I know we have a lot of abroad videos, but we also do videos like around the U.S., near us, stuff like that, in Chicago, New Orleans, things like that to help people out, which kind of leads into Alex Mesa's question. What's your favorite U.S. city to visit? I like New Orleans. You got great food. You got great culture. You got awesome people. Don't go in July and August because it's way too hot. There are some crime things there, but it's not really that bad. And you can take kids there, and a lot of people don't realize that New Orleans actually is a good place for kids because there's so many things to do. And even the French Quarter where Bourbon Street is and all the drinking and things like that, it's totally fine until about 4:00 in the afternoon, and then get the kids out. Okay. Let's see. Science Spotter. Hi, Mark. I'm a student at Texan AM. Hey, how are you? And I'll be studying abroad in a Spanish-speaking country next spring. Do you have any recommendations on where to go? So there's different ways you can look at this. If you go to Madrid, you're going to have an international city, so you have a lot to do. But the thing is, since there's so many international people there, it might be hard to learn Spanish because you might get like in with the expat group and stuff like that. But it is a cool city. Sevilla is a huge place where people learn Spanish, so you'll get a lot of international people there that are actually specifically there to learn Spanish, so that can be helpful. But I've found that if you really want to learn language, it's better to be in like a smaller town because less people are speaking English when you're there, and so you're forced to speak it. I know when I lived in Argentina, the family I was with, I mean, I made a decision. Look, I am only going to hang out with the Americans that are in my classes 2 days a week when we have classes. Otherwise, I'm only hanging out with the locals, and that helped me learn my Spanish a lot. So that would be helpful. So Zero Cool in real life. Is it worth adding Thailand to a Germany-Poland itinerary? Kind of a long way to go from Poland all the way up to Thailand, but if you can, it is worth it. It is a really great city, okay? So that is cool. Reckless Powers, who has the best World War II museum? I would say going to Normandy. That is the best World War II area because there's so many museums up there and so many things. I've been to the World War II museum in New Orleans and it's really cool. But the thing is the battles weren't in the U.S. So you don't have as many of the. It's more of a interactive thing versus a hands-on, like this is the actual stuff they shot with and did stuff with. So that would be one thing I would look out for that. Hey, thank you, Water Marine Veteran. I appreciate the super chat. It does make a difference helping us make these videos. And we just want to say thank you to everyone that has been on super chat or anyone that's been a patron on Patreon to help us out. It does make a really big difference for us. Thank you very much. So let's see. Water Marine Veteran writes, been shy to do many travel vids, visited approximately 20 countries, on about 10,000 miles, that's a lot of driving. Road trip East-West Coast, driving Pacific, doing survival food vids mostly. Well, I would say don't be shy. That's one thing is actually I was at VidCon last weekend in London. And I talked to a lot of vloggers out there, YouTubers, that had small channels. I'm like, well, I don't know. Is it worth it? Should I do it? Why not? Think of all the people that are like you. I mean, I make my videos to like talk to people like me, people that want to travel and learn some culture before they go so they have a good time. You focus on yourself, put those things out there because you'll be surprised how many people enjoy it. And I know for me, it helps me to remember our trips together and kind of keep up that traveling spirit during the year, even when I'm not traveling. So I say, Water Marine Veteran, go put them together, send them to me so I can watch them too. Okay, I'll subscribe. Okay, Eli Wallace. This is actually a good question. Eli Wallace. Hey, Mark, I'm a 14-year-old and I would love to become a foreign exchange student, but my parents would not let me. How do I convince them? This is the thing. I was an exchange student when I was 16 and 17. I went to Australia when I was 16. I went to Finland when I was 17. And I know when I came back from a summer exchange from Australia, I told my mom, I want to go like right away. My mom's like, no, I don't want my baby to leave me. And that's one of the things, Eli, you're kind of dealing with. Is your parents, they love you. They want you to be with them. So it gets kind of a scary thing for them to like let their baby go. But the thing is, when I tell parents, because I take students abroad, I say, look, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity because you can go on vacation somewhere. But let's be honest, going on vacation is very different than living somewhere. When you go and live there, you get to learn the people, the real culture, how people function and stuff like that. And it really gives you a much better insight into the culture and into the country. That's why we have so many videos on Portugal and Brazil and Germany and Italy, because these are places I've lived and I understand a lot better. Because trying to get your cable or you're trying to get your cable installed in Lithuania, you'll really understand Lithuanian culture a lot better than if you're just doing a 1 week trip through Lithuania. So that's one of the things, and also it helps you mature as a person. I know 14 seems a bit young. Usually I want you to be about 15, 16, 17 when you go. But what I would do is I would look into programs like AFS or Rotary International Youth Exchange. Those are really respected organizations that can do a better job of talking to your parents about it. But I'd say at 14, if you're planting the seed that you want to go, when you're like 15, 16, it might be easier for them to say yes. So I hope that helps. So it just jumped up. Okay, someone wrote in there, hey, what about these countries that don't take euros? Will they take euros anyway? It's a hit and miss. Croatia, there were places that said, no, we will not take euros. Other places were happy to take it. I would just stick with your credit card and stuff like that. You're going to do a good job there, or just exchange a little bit of money. Have those things there, because if you're going to a bar, you really want to give out your credit card for a dollar beer. I mean, some places won't even take it. So I would get some cash when you're there. Don't expect the euros to be taken everywhere. So just have a heads up for that. So Linda Curtis writes, rental car or public transportation in Rome for 5 days post-cruise. Public transportation, driving to Italy will give you a heart attack. And after that relaxing cruise, you don't need that kind of stress. So that would be what I would say to you. AK, 5 days in Normandy, D-Day beaches, Mont Saint Michel, Rouen. Any other suggestions? Go to Bayeux. Go to Bayeux. That is really cool. I will tell you, Mont Saint Michel is gorgeous from the outside, but if there's a ton of tourists in there, you're gonna get frustrated. So do have a heads up for that. Okay, so have some patience with that. Try to go earlier in the day to beat the crowds because man, Mont Saint Michel can get a little hectic later on. Brazil MMA. I know you can beat my butt. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, cool. So Moman writes, I love your videos. It encouraged me to finally take my first flight. It was a San Juan. Thank you. Love you guys. Well, thanks, Moman. That's really cool. We're glad we can help. That's one thing we love doing. We love helping other travelers like you. That's why we're going to be doing, 3 videos a week and try to do live feeds or filter those together through March to help all of you get ready for your summer travels. Because I know a lot of people are planning their flights now, starting to think about where we're going to go and stuff like that. So Seth Bukama writes, best way to find cheap flights. So what we do is I'll go to kayak.com and I'll put in the destination I want to go, and they'll have suggestions. Should you buy? Should you wait? Stuff like that. But I'll look at different things, and then it'll give me the different airlines, and they'll have like cheap ones. Oh, if you fly with American there, then Delta back or something like that, that gets you the cheapest price. Yeah, you can do those with them, but I always find I'm always more comfortable when I go and buy the ticket actually from the airline. It's kind of like when you book through bookings.com, if anything bad happens, you're out your money. But if you book directly with Hilton, they have a better chance of getting your money back. But what I do is I look at Kayak, and if I see a really great price with Kayak for Delta, I will then go to the Delta website, and then I'll book through there and try to get that. Just to do those things. So you just get a rough idea. And the thing is, I fly with Delta all the time because we get upgraded and stuff like that because we fly so much. But if you're not getting upgraded, sometimes it's not worth it to stick with one airline. Sometimes, it's like, if it's like $400 difference, go with the other airline. Because it's just like, I don't know if you get the value out of that super higher price. But do look around for those things. Let's see. General Patton Games. I think you've written before. Suggestions for a 7-day trip in Portugal. I would, you're probably going to fly into Lisbon. Okay. So yeah, so if you only have 7, so we got 7 days. So 2 days in Porto and a day in Porto, then maybe do a half-day trip to like Guimarães or Braga when you're there. Then do 2 full days in Lisbon. Then do a day trip to Centro Évora, and then spend 2 days in the Algarve. And those 2 days, one go to Lagos and take the boats. They go the little tiny boats to go into the grottos, which is really cool when you're there. Let's see. Ryan asks, Airbnb in Spain or hotel? Depends where you are. I think you'll be okay with either one there. And if you're in Spain, I would just take the train around. You don't need to fly. They have the Aves and stuff that go pretty fast, so you're good there. Let's see. I'll scroll back up, see if because I had another one. This thing is weird, just jumping 50 up. Okay. Favorite food. So Dutch Vanderlinde writes favorite food. Well, I like the croquette in the Netherlands, and the little tiny pancakes. Those are really good in the Netherlands. But for me, when I go to Italy, when I'm in the north in Veneto, I like bigli con arno, which is these big fat pasta noodles with a duck ragu sauce. That's tops. That's tops for me, man. That's my favorite. Let's see. San Juan's back. Which besides Prague to go in the Czech Republic? Český Krumlov is probably the prettiest little town. You're gonna go there. You can go to Pilsen to see where they made Pilsner Urquell beer, where Pilsner beer really came from. That's kind of a cool thing to do. In terms of going back to the cheap flights thing, Reckless Power says Skyscanner. Yeah, Skyscanner is another one. Skyscanner, Kayak, any of these sites that work together to put things, that's going to be a really, really, really good one. So Matthew writes, Jocelyn's here. Beautiful, wonderful, amazing, as always.
Awake.
She's awake.
And showered.
Yes, we bathed for you all. So where to go? Matthew writes, hey Mark, do you have any good recommendations of countries to visit in Europe for a first-time traveler from Canada? I'll be honest, I usually recommend Ireland. Because you can drive around, see everything, no language differences. People are super friendly. Lots of stuff to see, and you get a lot of that historic here because there's museums, there's castles, there's countryside. So that's kind of a nice, easy one to do. Or you can do a Scotland or England. That's kind of an easy one. If you're looking to do, I want a foreign language, but I'm scared of foreign languages. That's when you've got Portugal, because a lot of people speak English, or the Netherlands, stuff like that. So there's
Iceland.
Or Iceland. Yeah, Iceland's real easy too. So moving on. So, Scarlet Fever. I hope you don't have that. I'm going to Greece for 8 days in September and consider staying in Rome for 2 days beforehand. you think that's enough time to see some sights? Yeah. And the thing is, Rome is very compact, so you can actually walk around and see a lot of stuff. Even when the museums are closed, you can walk around and see a lot of stuff. So
Mark and I actually did that. That was one of the first videos you ever made.
Oh, with you?
I know. We did 24 hours in Rome, and we saw almost every major site in 24 hours.
But just on the outside. On the outside.
Yeah, I also got shin splints. So
yeah, because the thing is, like historic Rome is relatively compact, so you can actually, because there's so many sites, it's like walk to site to site to site to site to site to site to site. So yes, shin splints will probably happen. so Kansas girl abroad, good to see you on here. Okay, so here's a good one. Christ Almighty. Hi, Mark. Care to explain why renting a car at Logan International is such a nightmare? So those of you who don't know what Logan International is, that is in Boston. And renting a car there, it's because it sucks. Because they don't have enough.
They don't have enough agents.
There's not enough agents. There's not enough. So instead of having like 5 agents for 100 people, they have 2 agents for 200 people, and it goes super slow. And so it just takes forever. Like we were in line for what, like 2 or 3 hours?
It was about 2 hours, and then just to get the paperwork, and I had everything ready, pre-booked. We were as ready as you can be, but I just had to stand there forever. I couldn't do it through the kiosk stuff. Actually, I don't even think they had the kiosks there.
If you are going to through Logan,
if anyone needs one, it's Logan.
Yeah, I mean, if you are going to fly into Boston, rent a car there, get the app and get on like the club of whatever company you're renting cars from. So then sometimes you can skip the line and do that, because I mean it can ruin your trip.
But at Logan, there were some people when I was picking up the car that had the whatever the circle is or whatever in the fast track one, and they said still it was about twice as long as it usually takes to get a car, which maybe only is half an hour in that, but you should be aware of that.
Yeah. Hey, Snugglebug Parisa. So we're glad that we can help you and your boyfriend travel some more, and I'm glad you like watching the videos. It's really nice of you. Sorry.
I'm going to Cancun in April. Any recommendation where to stay for a family of 5? So there's a bazillion and one resorts that you can stay at.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
At least a bazillion.
Yeah, a lot of them are like all inclusive and whatever, and they're kind of in their own little district in Cancun. Not far from there, we actually rented an apartment. I wish I could give you the name of the company we rented through, but it was definitely like it was a group of apartments in sort of like where a bunch of expats own condos and things, but it had 2 bathrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, living room, kitchen, dining room, and 1 bedroom upstairs was massive, and it had like 4 single beds or something, and really probably could have had more than that. And then it had another bedroom, I think with 2 queens or something. I mean, whatever. It was way more than we needed, but it was actually less to stay there than to stay in any of the hotels. But this place wasn't all inclusive. They did have a bar next to the pool and like a little restaurant. But it was actually really great. It was a little ways away from all the resorty stuff, but that's kind of who we are.
Yeah.
We're those sort of people. So it worked out really, really wonderful for us.
And I don't, there's just so many options there.
There's a pile of options. So those are just 2 of the options, but you could go like a regular hotel route too. You could do an Airbnb, just research that well. But yeah, you've got tons of stuff. Thank you, Bia. Mark got it for me in Malta.
Love you. So let's see. I guess Wine and Marine Vegan, are you out? Or veteran, you're out. I'll see you later.
Bye.
See ya.
Thanks.
Lily Kirky, do you recommend Europe in summer? I'm terrified that they don't have central air. I'm a southern girl that hates to sweat. The last 2 summers in Europe have been incredibly hot.
Bad hot.
Like, oh my God. Like, we were in Greece and it was like
120.
No. It was like 115, 110.
Whatever, 115,
it was
110,
super hot.
120.
So what you want to do is you want to make sure they have AC, because what they'll have is they don't have like the central AC. It's like there's like a box, not like the box you see in the US, but a box above the window. You'll have something like that could cool things down. Really, the only time it usually gets super hot is like end of July, August in Europe is when you get the hot stuff. So if you can go in May or June, you'll be fine. Early June, you'll be fine. And if you're going like Scandinavia or Germany, northern Germany, usually it's not an issue for that. Moin moin, Angel from, I'm guessing that's a Finnish person there. Good to see you. Scott Neal, good to see you, buddy. So Scott's one of our fans. You've probably seen him a few of our t-shirt videos. Gonna grab a beer with him when I'm in Scotland this summer with my mom.
Hey, somebody asked me what my favorite country and or city were. I don't know about cities. I mean,
Savannah.
Savannah is always probably my go-to for a city. But I love Paris and Rome. There are lots of cities that I really love. But countries, my tops are Greece because of my family and stuff, but also I just absolutely love it, minus all of that. And I really love Nicaragua. It was very different. It was beautiful, and I loved it. So those are two.
Yeah. So I got a few questions here we can go through really quick. Yeah, Scotland missed the heat wave. Yes, it did. Oh, dang it, where'd it go? So Dominic's written a few times. Good to hear from you. Mark and Jocelyn, what are the advantages of using Dutch in the Netherlands? Basically, the locals will be impressed, and they'll be even more sarcastic and funny with you. We really like the Dutch humor, so just that's one of the things. If you speak the language or you try to speak the language, the locals really like warm up to you. That's really helpful. Reckless Powers, would we go to Lebanon? Yes, we would. We're trying to figure out how to put together some other countries. We're down in the Middle East later this year, so hopefully we can get there as well.
Richard Roth asks, best places to do and see other than Machu Picchu and Cusco. Arequipa and Lima are my other two. So I really liked Lima. It's a cool town down like by the JFK whatever.
Yeah, it's the you want to stay in the Miraflores district when you're there.
It was really lovely. I mean, you could spend 3 days there. Arequipa was cool. Mark's mom has a really good friend there, and so we got like a real locals kind of perspective on it. But we just really enjoyed Arequipa. So add those and then do the Sacred Valley. Actually, most people don't spend much time there. It's usually just like a couple hour stop between Cusco and Machu Picchu. But that could definitely be worth a few days. So between those three, you could certainly add enough time in to make 2 to 3 weeks with Machu Picchu and Cusco added in.
So, Paulo the General, have you ever been to UAE? We have not been yet, but we're looking at getting there. So we're trying to get there. Let's see.
Northern Italy, what can you expect for fresh food in April? Well, the pasta's always fresh.
Yeah. And don't worry, whatever fruit is fresh at that time, that's what like their desserts afterwards will be. So It's not like you have to search for the fresh fruit. That's what's going to be.
That's just what sort of they use, generally speaking. And go to the market. I mean, walk up. There's always a market open everywhere. So just pop in there.
So Sean Gibbons writes, best places to visit in the UK and Greece. I would say if you're looking at the UK, like if I went to Northern Ireland, Giant's Causeway is my top one. If I'm going to Scotland, Isle of Skye or Edinburgh, my top one. If I'm going to England, York, Bath, London, Stonehenge, Inverness. You should like Inverness. Wales, Snowdonia, or
Bath.
Well, that's not Wales.
Did you say Bath?
I said Bath for England. Yeah, so there's some stuff there. So I hope that helps out a little bit.
What about Greece?
Greece?
He said UK and Greece. So obviously you have to see Athens because it's Athens. I really love the Peloponnese. Part of my family is from the Peloponnese. That's the glove, the hand down at the bottom. And we sort of like to stay near Sparti and go and do a bunch of day trips from there. Nafplio is really cool city down in that area. And then of course there's the islands. Crete is a good island to do because it's big enough that you can like get stuck there for a while. You can really spend a good 4 or 5 more days on the island, so it can be a destination in and of itself.
So Henry Alquist writes, hey Mark, have you ever been to Central Asia like Tajikistan, Turkmenistan? If you would you recommend going there? We have not been, but I know a lot of travel bloggers are going there now. We were looking to go in there next summer, 2020. But we don't have any personal experience. But I know like the Vaga brothers were just there, and Kara and Nate's been there and stuff like that. So they have some stuff. So I would check out some of their videos.
Jessica Sampson asks if we ever use tour groups. So we very rarely do tour groups of more than us. Yeah. Like usually it's our family, the grandparents or whomever might be traveling with us.
Or friends.
Friends, whatever. But sometimes we'll do we'll arrange stuff and we'll do a small tour, of just one place during a day, and we'll be in with a group. But we always try to get them in small groups, never more than 10 people or so, simply because part of it's because we have kids and it makes it easier. And two, you get a lot more out of it, in my opinion, if it's a smaller group.
So Scarlet Fever asks, have we ever used a travel company called Great Value Vacations? We have not.
even
I've never
of
heard of
them.
it, so I don't know. Eamon, don't worry, we'll be getting to New Zealand. Don't worry. And Jimmy, don't be worried about Tanzania. We got our tickets. We got everything booked up. We got our camps. We got our Serengeti stuff. So
I'm excited.
we got
Hey,
that stuff going
Olga,
on.
you don't need shots to go to Costa Rica.
Outside your normal shots.
Outside what you get anyway. They do have mosquitoes and whatnot, so just be, we take those little bands and stuff, so be ready for that.
So where are we heading next? We're going to Jamaica next. So
Yeah.
we're trying to get some more Caribbean, Central. We just came back from Belize. Well, I came back from London. Before that, we were in Belize and Guatemala. So we're trying to do more Central America and Caribbean. So we got some of those things coming up.
Brian Thomas, yes, you can do Crete in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Probably less than that, but if 2 weeks would be really in depth.
Yeah. Kevin Sandler writes, is Thailand a cheap place to visit? Thailand is an insanely cheap place to visit. If you notice, it's one of the most popular places for digital nomads to go and work because it's so cheap to live there. A lot of travel bloggers will actually base themselves there and kind of explore the rest of Southeast Asia from Thailand because it is so affordable there. Not affordable, it's so cheap there. So there is that.
It's not cheap to get to, though.
Yeah, no, and it takes a long time to get there, but there is that. Let's see. What do you recommend for tourist places in Cancun? Go to Chichen Itza. Go see. Go the Mayan sites. Go to a cenote. That's the sinkholes, and do those things. And there's plenty of tourist stuff right.
What's
right
the
in
other
Cancun.
Mayan place other than
There's Tulum.
Tulum,
Then there's
that's what I'm
also
thinking
Koba
of.
you can go to.
Yep.
Tulum's on the coast. Koba's inland. They're both worth going to see. So it's you can have a really good time there. Let's see.
JFK to Venice with a 90-minute layover at London Heathrow. Oh, in and out of the same terminal.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. It depends who you're flying with. If it's a connector thing. Because if you're just going through London to go there, you don't necessarily have to go through passport control. I've done that before, and sometimes you just stay in your terminal, and you're there, and then you're just flying off, so you don't need to have all the extra stuff. But I would talk to your airline that you booked the flight with and see what they recommend you do.
Heather Miller, the whole Kilimanjaro or Everest base camp. Maybe I'm actually pretty disappointed that we're not going to get to Kilimanjaro.
Well, we're there, but we don't get to hike.
Yeah, we don't get to hike it, but at least I get to see it. Maybe next time we'll get to hike it.
So Wandering Marine Veteran did not go. He's still here. Or I can't see the picture. So Lima's among the very best foodie cities in the world.
I would absolutely agree with that.
Here's one of the things is we've done videos for about 10 years. It'll be 10 years in April, by the way. And some of the places have totally changed. Like I used to make fun of Irish food and stuff like that. The foodie revolution changed Ireland's food. And the thing is, when you think of, when I went to Peru the first time 20 years ago versus when we went a couple years ago to Peru, I mean, it was night and day. The food in Peru is awesome.
Absolutely
like it's a
amazing.
foodie trip stuff.
Like Peruvian food is some of my favorite food in the world now.
So yes, Wyatt, top 10 Europe cities: Prague, Paris, London, Rome, Lisbon. There's my 5 big ones. If I go for like some small ones, Salzburg, Bamberg. I would say, Copenhagen's not small, but Copenhagen's really cool. Stockholm's cool. Tallinn.
What's the one in Austria that I like?
Innsbruck's cool. Vienna's cool. I mean, I can't do 10. There's too many. There's too many to go for. Okay, so Snugglebug Parisa, hey.
What, baby? Oh, you need he needs daddy.
I have to have some of the iPad.
iPad.
Yeah.
Okay, what were you going to answer?
Now you could get
Crab cakes in DC. Where did you get those, and where to see cherry blossoms in April? So we got them at like some kind of fair thing outside. It wasn't a fair. It was just just a vendor outside, and it was really good. So Mark, aren't all the cherry blossoms? I've not been there in April. They're just
go to Trip Hacks DC.
Yeah, Trip Hacks DC. He'll answer all your questions. He's brilliant. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, Rob's
and
awesome.
He's a nice guy.
So Trip Hacks DC. He's on YouTube and all the social media. He's got videos on when to do the cherry blossoms. Everything. He does tours for him. Really nice guy.
Really great tours too. Okay,
so Zero Cool in real life. Colmar versus Dijon. Which did you like better? I would go Colmar. Colmar's just a little bit cuter. Just a little bit cuter. It's a tough call, but if I got to make the choice, I'm making that one.
Jim, I'm glad we could help you with a Nana trip. That was cool. So, thank you, Nurse Shay. When you climb Kilimanjaro, will you go to the true summit? No, and we're not climbing Kilimanjaro. Actually, it's kind of sad. We're just like going to be in the town for like a couple of hours. It's like super fast at the end of our trip, and that's just the way things ended up.
Yeah.
Right.
So
got stuck there.
Yeah. So Heather Miller writes, is there a lot of vegetarian food in South America? There's a lot of beans and rice. And there's a lot of fruit and a lot of smoothies. That's your main stuff going to be. If you get into Brazil, there's a little more options, but
piles of fruit in Brazil.
Piles of fruit. So you'll be more of a fruitarian when you're there, and a riceitarian. That's the kind of the big stuff there. Have we been to Australia? I was an exchange student there back in the day. Liam, we can't buy the stuff. No, I'm not. No. Liam wants us to buy stuff on his iPad. I'm like, no, I'm not spending real money on that stuff. So, yeah, he is mad, but you know what? I'm not buying stuff on there. Let's see. Alika, going to Tokyo next week. Any tips for using the trains? When you fly in, actually, you can get your rail pass before you go. By the way, you get your was it the J Rail pass?
What we have
videos on that. Watch some of our Japan videos. We'll talk about the trains. But you get a pass that will let you travel wherever you want. But you can go and reserve your seats and things. When we flew in, we went to the train thing there and got it okayed, everything set up, and it helped us get all our trains right there. It is very, very simple. It's so efficient. Lots of people, but very, very efficient.
Mark, I'd like to get your feelings on this from Chuck Draper. My wife and I booked a trip to China for $600 per person with flights and nice hotels and visas. UTO vacation. Too good to be true or legit?
Well, it depends how long they're going for.
Yeah,
and
right.
Where you're going from.
I mean, China was pretty inexpensive. Like, we stayed in a gorgeous
5-star,
in Shanghai for
$81
American. That was an awesome
in the summer during tourist season. So it's like the high prices.
Yeah. So anyway, that it could be legit.
Look up UTO. I don't know anything about them.
Research them, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to have trip insurance just in case. LM, have you ever gone to a European football match?
I've been to about 20 Vicenza Calcio matches around Italy. I've been to some in Berlin. I've been to some in Bremen. I've been to a bunch in Portugal.
Brazil?
In Brazil, I saw Sao Paulo play in Brazil.
Not a European football match.
Yeah,
but
so I've seen a lot. Seen a lot. So what do we
were getting the death stare from our youngest son.
Because we won't buy stuff on the iPad for him. It's not a word, buddy.
Liam?
You just got a new game on the Switch, buddy. You go have fun with that. Oh, Caleb is using.
Pamela asks, is it worth it to go to Iguazu before South American cruise when you only have 2 days in Buenos Aires? I agree with Mark. I think that you should do it. It's a really cool place, and it's unlike anywhere else, and it's kind of cool and relaxing. It's not like a miserable trip in and out, so it's all right.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, you're going 10 days in March. Oh, well, March is low season, so yeah, it could be legit. Because here's the thing: is whenever you buy, this is going back to the China group thing. Is that's why you get those group tickets, because they get a bunch of people. Then when it's getting near the end, they're like, we just want to sell it off, so we got to cover our costs. So sometimes you can get good deals. That's why some people really like those last minute deals, because you can get a good price. But the thing is, if you want to guarantee your spot, there's no guarantee you'll get a last minute deal.
Mark, so Jim M asks about tips for trip cancel insurance. You do our insurance, so
yeah. So I bought. So whenever we're going anywhere, when you buy your flights, they'll give you the option to buy. They all give you the option to buy the insurance for it. I get it every time. We've never had to use it. Knock on wood. But I just have that to be safe. Also, look on your credit card at what their policies are, because sometimes they have stuff that'll help you out with that. So I would give you the heads up for that one.
Where did it just go? Hang on.
So GeoScholar has one. Any recommendations for a person who would visit Chicago in the winter? Well, it's cold. It's windy. But the thing is Chicago has some of the greatest museums in the U.S. So the Art Institute of Chicago, the Museum of Science and Industry, the Shedd Aquarium, the Field Museum, there's so much to do inside that it doesn't matter that it's super cold. You can still see a lot. I would just definitely make sure you have a really thick coat and some good gloves, okay?
And be ready. Eamon Duffy asked if Sao Paulo was worth visiting. It's a business city, so just be mindful of that. I mean, a
you're
day or two
you're gonna have
if
to
you really want.
if you're flying into there, I mean, fly in, spend the night to get your stuff, then head out the next day to go see some other parts of the country. So that's one thing I would kind of work with. Oh, Elika D, thank you very much. I'm glad we can answer your questions. I'm glad you love the videos, and super thank you for the super chat. That is super awesome of you. Thank you so much. Let's see.
Someone else had asked about Crete, Sicily, or Croatia for 2 weeks. So I feel like you could marry Sicily and Crete together.
Yeah.
And do those together in 2 weeks. And then you could do Croatia for 2 weeks. But with Croatia, there is a nice little ferry over to Venice. You could go like over there for a couple of days if you'd like to do something like that.
Yeah. So. And I mean, I think I've been to all those places, and like Sicily has probably the least to see of the three things you're looking at, so that would have your least amount of time. The Valley of the Temples are really cool. Going to Palermo, actually, Siracusa has probably got one of the cutest squares anywhere in the world. But Sicily was not like a historic thing. It was used as the breadbasket of Rome, so there's not really any Roman ruins there. There's actually Greek ruins. The Greek ruins are the ones that are there. Douglas, thank you very much. Another awesome super chat. Are there places that just as cool to visit off season when cheaper, and places you only want to go when it is in season, like going to Paris in the fall or winter? Is it still good to go and save money? So any major city will be good pretty much any time of the year, because you're going there for world famous sites. Because I mean, you could get a clear day in July or you could get a clear day in September. It doesn't matter. So cities like that are worth it any time of the year, like Prague, Berlin, Paris, Tokyo, things like that.
I've never been to Prague when it wasn't snowing.
Yeah. And
it's lovely.
And you save so much money on those off times. Now, on the other side, there's some places you really want to go when it's in season, like the Greek islands. If you try to go to the Greek islands out of season, a lot of times the ferries aren't running anymore. You have to fly. I mean, I went to Santorini in February with my parents, and it was my mom, my dad, myself. And there was like one restaurant we could go eat at because everything was closed down because they were waiting for there. So if it's a really, really touristy place, like there's a town in Lithuania called Palanga, and that they make all their money in 3 months. The rest of the year is basically, there's nothing going on. So definitely, I mean, if you're like, oh, it's a beachy kind of place, you want to be there when it's beachy season. And the thing is, if you're looking for the cheap flights, like the EasyJets and Ryanair, sometimes don't start their cheap flights to those holiday destinations until July, because that's when a lot of the Europeans get off for vacation and the schools are getting out. So that's when they take their vacation. So if you're coming from the U.S. and you're trying to go in May, sometimes there's not the cheap flights to get to those places. So I hope that helps you out, Douglas, to give you some ideas of some of the stuff that's there. So
what's the
thank you.
best country to study in Europe if they're an engineering student? I'm just going to go on a limb and say Germany.
Yes, Germany would be your top one. Austria is good. Scandinavia's got some good stuff. Business can be good pretty much anywhere. There's some good schools all over. So you have that. But I would say if you're looking to get a degree abroad, there's certain countries, if you're coming from the U.S. and you want to go back to the U.S., German degrees and British degrees are the ones that easily translate back here. Like I have my master's is in from Germany, and that's no problem. My PhD is from Portugal. It's a little bit more of something there, so you want to look at those things. But what I usually say is if you're looking to study abroad, look for a culture you want to learn more about and be a part of. And if you want to work there, especially if you want to work there, if you get a study there and get a degree there, it's going to make it easier for you to get a job because the people there know what students in that school learn, and so they can know what you learn, and it's easier for them to hire you. So, Michael Mann, thank you both for all the great advice and helpful videos. Well, thank you, Michael. I'm glad we can help out. We try to put out a lot, and for those of you who've come in late to the chat, our fans voted for March as their big month. They like to prepare for their summer travel. So in March, we're going to be doing 3 videos a week. So we're also going to be trying to do 1 live feed a week as well. So you're going to get a lot more stuff coming to help you travel so we can do these questions and answers more often in March. So we'll have Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. There'll be videos. Sometimes it'll be a live feed for one of those, or we might just throw a random live feed on a Friday or something like that, or a Tuesday to help people out. So that link you see on our page, you can put it like a reminder on there. Hit that notification bell.
Yeah, then you
know it's going to come, so you have some questions, so we can do that. Because we really like helping people. We know right now some people are really trying to start to do their planning, so we want to try to help as much as we can.
A. Petring asked about how do we deal with long haul flights. We actually have a video on that. But some basic things, I really like to get this homeopathic jet lag stuff. That really helps me. We use melatonin and we stay really hydrated. Those things help a lot if you can sleep and being hydrated, you wouldn't believe how much that takes off of you. Just drink a lot of water.
Yeah, the hydrations thing. That's why in another life, I was friends with a girl who was a flight attendant. And she was like, don't drink orange juice because it dehydrates you. Don't drink the caffeine because it affects you more. It's like, drink the apple juice and drink a lot of water to stay hydrated when you fly. It helps you a lot. Sukmar Halder, send your question again. I don't know where it went. So and you can't send WhatsApp stuff or phone numbers on these things. Oh,
this
wait.
person has asked this question a couple of times about
Which
where
one?
to study in American universities.
Okay, so it kind of goes to the same thing here, but it depends what you want to study. If you just want to learn the language, you can go anywhere. If you want to like learn a specific thing, like what I usually recommend, if a student's going to study abroad for a semester, find a school that has classes that you can't take at your university, so then you can grow, like professionally and educationally and mentally in this new area that you don't have. Like I always recommend people like, look, if you're going to go someplace and your school doesn't have digital marketing, take digital marketing when you're away and stuff like that.
At the end of April, in Iceland, yeah, we rented a 4x4. I definitely would then, because if things are starting to melt, the roads, most of the roads are good and really well paved, but some of the edges, the edge roads kind of get a little bit muddy, and you might need to know how to handle a 4-wheel drive vehicle.
And you'll feel more comfortable with it, to be honest.
Definitely, I would suggest having a manual transmission.
Yeah. So Douglas is back. Compression socks help for me on trans-Pacific flights. Yes. I love my Duluth Trading Company compression socks. Anytime I go on a long-haul flight or even a middling flight, I take those with me. They just make you so much more comfortable wearing compression socks. So do check those out. William Charlock. Hi, Mark and Jocelyn. What's cheaper, 4 or 5 day trip, Nicaragua or Lisbon?
Nicaragua is cheaper. I don't know what your flight cost would be exactly to either of those places, but Nicaragua is definitely cheaper than, I mean, like $2 meals. Like the most expensive meal we had at the fanciest, most crazy touristy place in Granada, Nicaragua.
It was like $8 a plate.
$8 a plate.
And that was
with
like
a drink.
Yeah. And that was with a bucket of beer. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Jim M, you guys are better than photos and Birnbaum. Thank you so much. That is nice,
thing.
man. Thank you so much. We try to be helpful. We try to help. We try to help other travelers. It's really great when we hear that. Donna Gamble. Hey, you can drive a manual transmission too. Girl crush. So Donna Gamble obviously doesn't know how to drive stick. So that's one thing people should know. If you're going to be renting a car in Europe or a lot outside the U.S., a lot of times it's going to be stick shift. It's going to be manual transmission. I know a lot of places that's how you learn how to drive, but in the U.S., pretty much everyone learns how to drive on automatic. It's actually hard to find manual transmission cars. So that's what's funny. So do be prepared. So if you're going to rent a car, if you're coming from the U.S., you're going to rent a car abroad. If you want that automatic, you might have to pay up for it. So just have a heads up for that one, okay? And Donna, hope you're doing well. Hope your trips to Turks and Caicos went well and everything. And the boys are doing good. Eamon, thank you very much, my friend, for the super chat. We really appreciate it. It's really a wonderful thing that you guys help us out with these super chats. It does make a big difference. So thank you. So there was one question up here asking about thoughts on an international SIM card. Okay, so if you have an international SIM card, if you can top it up or however it works, it's fine. But remember, if you got your phone from AT&T, it's locked to AT&T. You might have to get another phone for that. What we end up doing is just getting the international plan when we travel and just use that, just because it's the same number. And so people got to get a hold of us. I'm not like, oh, did they use the right number or are they calling that number? So do check that out. Oh, thanks, Liam. Liam threw me a... Okay, mom doesn't...
I can't.
Liam is sponsored by Fruit Roll-Ups today. So, anyway, I lost my... Thanks.
Oh my
Liam,
gosh, there's nothing but sugar in this.
Anyway, Liam...
Corn syrup, dried corn syrup, sugar. Anyway,
go, Liam.
Naughty.
So, Mark Rain, hi guys. Most disappointing cities. Brussels for me.
Excuse me, I would probably agree with that.
Yeah, we have Mr. Chumby running around here. Yeah, I would say Brussels was the biggest disappointment for me, but I think that's more because I would hear Brussels in the news more than I hear Paris or London because of European Union. In reality, if it was just talked about like a B-level city, I would have been fine, but it just got talked about so much. What else? In the U.S., what places have disappointed me? I don't know. Which one?
A. Petrang. Sorry for the bizarre question, but what have you done to control the bathroom cycle when on those long haul flights? Well, if you're one of those people like me, I drink 70 ounces of water a day.
That's a good question.
I drink like about 2 liters of water a day. And
no, garbage is over there.
Given that,
garbage is over there.
When you first start drinking a lot of water, you're going to have to pee all the time. But if you drink it for like regularly like that, your body kind of assimilates and you won't have to all the time. So maybe it would just be good to start drinking a lot of water all the time. And also it's just good for you.
Yes, I bought the fruit roll-ups for those asking. They were on special. It's like, oh, for school. Sadly, they've mowed through them, so these are like the last two. Anyway, okay, moving on. Coldest places you have traveled to during the wintertime. We were in Görlitz in Germany, and it was minus 20 Celsius with wind. And if you ever see a picture of Joss when she's got like just her eyes showing, she got a black hat on, her scarf's around her, and she's like, I'm going to kill you because you made me so cold. It was in Görlitz.
Mark loves to pull that picture out all the time just to show how angry I can be.
Yep.
That's the worst. And also at home, we've had the polar vortex lately, and it's no cool.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
So Joe Gulexon writes, will you be going to the Passion Play in Oberammergau in 2020? Is this something that you'll cover? I've thought about trying to get there for it, but I don't think it's going to fit in our schedule this year, so we will not get to the Passion Play in Oberammergau. I know it's one of those things that only happens every couple of years or so it's kind of a really special thing, but we won't be able to get there. Sorry. Tracy, I'm glad you love the flying roll-ups. Let's see.
Okay. Eamon Duffy, even if I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Geoscholar's back. I want to go to the far south of Brazil during Brazil's winter and see snow. You will see it sometimes at a little bit higher elevations. You go to, not in Croatia, but you got to go up into like the higher elevations. You will get there. Actually, outside of Sao Paulo, there's São Jornal, where you actually see where they built the town to look like Switzerland, and Brazilians love going there because they get to wear a sweater. It's pretty funny when you do go there.
But if it gets below 60, Brazilians put on a parka.
Yeah, like when I lived there, I would walk around like in a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, and like people be in full winter garb. So it's a different perception of cold, let's say.
Andrew asked if we'd ever hit Northern Africa or the Middle East. We haven't really done the Middle East yet. Partially because when we have a lot of time and to get there, it's like ridiculous hot. So it's just a matter of figuring that out with the kids' schedule. We did go to Morocco this past year, and we had a really great time. It was very cool. I loved Marrakesh.
That's cool.
That was awesome.
And I've been to Tunisia, and I really enjoyed Tunisia. That was really cool. We are going to East Africa. We're on in Tanzania this summer, so we're trying to get some more places there. William Charlock, are the Wolters a skiing and snowboarding family? Well, the shattered collarbone of mine that almost popped through my skin says no.
I can ski.
I only hurt myself skiing, so I don't. Marky doesn't play that game anymore.
Hey.
I'm really good at sitting by the fire drinking.
Yeah, I like lodges.
Yes, I'm good at that one.
Are 1 month trips or multiple smaller trips to Europe better?
I'd say it depends, because like we'll do like a 10-day trip to like Ireland, just drive around to really understand the country. But if we want to see if we want to just see a bunch of little things, sometimes we'll do a month or two and just kind of hit place after place to get an idea. So then when we have a 10-day trip, we can say, look, I really enjoyed those few days we were here. Let's go back for a longer time.
Let's go have a good long, yeah.
Are you okay, Liam? Okay. So Ellie's Lee writes, I'm fairly new to this channel. Well, welcome. Good to have you. Do you guys have your own house, or are you constantly on the road? Hi from Denmark. Yes, we're actually in our library right now. So we have our own house. So that's, we did not sell everything to travel the world. We have a house and a mortgage and jobs and stuff like that. So we're like normal people. We didn't get rid of everything to do this.
Kayan Cavian? Have you ever been on an Arctic expedition or an African safari? No, but after this year, we'll be able to say yes.
Yes, so that would be cool. Let's see. Oh, so Joe writes, any advice on taking the Channel from Paris to London? It's a normal train. No worries. You take the normal thing, you go under for a little bit. It's just like taking a normal train. It's nothing even that special anymore. It used to be special. I remember when it first opened and there was all this stuff, and I used to take it every so often. It was like, oh, now it's just a normal train ride. Geo Scholar, thank you very much for the super chat. That was super awesome of you. Thank you very much. Jocelyn.
Okay, so what airlines usually get you the most frustrations in terms of regular carriers? I loathe, with every fiber of my being, United Airlines. I had hundreds of thousands of miles with them, and I got treated like dirt time and time again. And no one ever said sorry when they slammed a boarding door shut in my face. I mean, it's just... I have a really hard time with that. Kind of fires me up right now. That, and I really kind of feel that way about Allegiant. But my sister loves Allegiant and has had really good stuff on that. So, it depends on your stuff, but I know I can say that I really enjoy flying Delta Airlines.
And the thing is I used to love United. Like, I used to fly with them all the time. Like, but I got so upset with them that I used my 300,000 miles I had and bought gift cards and gave away miles and bought Christmas gifts and stuff with it instead of using it to fly with them because I got so upset with them for how they were treating, how like their customer care really crashed. I mean, that's a horrible way to say, but like where the customer service really went down. And the thing is, years ago, Delta had issues, and the thing is, like we hope airlines come back. They go through phases. Right now, we're all about Delta. They've been great to us. So
you answer that. Krya, have you been to many places in the U.S.? Have you ever been to an American Indian reservation? Yes. So I used to live in the Southwest. So there were reservations all over. My uncle,
Donna's watching.
who just passed away recently, he was a minister on a reservation in New Mexico. Lived there for decades, and absolutely loved it. So yes, my family has done quite a bit of that, and it's a wonderful experience.
Donna Gamble, if you are watching this, Leah would like to know if Steven could come over and play right now. So I know she's still watching. So Liam wanted to ask. So there is that.
Somebody's headed to Savannah in a couple of days. What are your must-sees? Well, we have a bunch of Savannah videos. Y'all, I just went and ate at Cotton and Rye last time I was there, and I loved every bit of it. It was really good. If you want some good food tips, there is somebody called Savannah Foodie on Instagram, and they have a lot of good stuff on there, and I can back up a lot of what they say. Spend a little time on Tybee and just kind of meander around. Downtown is great. I love the Tricentennial Park, partially because I used to work there and I helped build some of those buildings or rebuild some of those buildings. But it's the Savannah History Museum, the Children's Museum, the Georgia State Railroad Museum, and
it's also where you get all the trolleys.
Yeah, it's just a great place, and also the Ralph Mark Gilbert Civil Rights Museum, really well done and very touching. But that's an excellent museum. Also, tons of house museums, tons and tons.
Yeah, really cool.
The Green Meldrum House is one that's not always on everyone's top of the list, but I actually really love.
So, some quick ones so we can get caught up a little bit here. So, ML, tips for traveling to Algarve Coast in Portugal. I'm leaving there tomorrow. So, go to Lagos and do one of the grotto trips. Don't get on a big boat. Get on the small boat, like a small boat, and they'll take you in there to like all the little grottos and stuff. That's really cool. You'll eat a ton of fish, and you'll just enjoy yourself. So, don't worry about that. I want to press, hey, is there cool in real life? Did your wife always like traveling, or did you introduce her to it? She's been traveling forever.
Yeah, no, I was traveling. I traveled as a child, and he never did. So, yes, some Geo Scholar also said something about going to the river in Savannah, and the best place to watch the river, in my opinion, is Old Fort Jackson. I would definitely agree with
cool.
that.
Steve Weaver, thank you very much for the super chat. The $10, we really appreciate it. It makes a difference. Thank you so much. We're glad that we can help out and all the travel tips and everything. So cheers. Thank you very much. It's awesome. Wilhelm van der Merwe, how cold is Berlin in spring? It's more wet than cold. So that's one thing I'd say for that.
Yeah, which makes it chilly because it's wet, but it's not cold. Yeah. Geo Scholar, we have considered collaborations, and we've done a few with other YouTubers. Generally speaking, people don't like us.
Well, they just don't want to work with us.
They don't want to work with us.
Even when I talk about it, and I'm like, hey, if someone would like to do something, like, no. Like, I'll be with people and be like, no, we're good. I'm like, okay. I'm like, here's some ideas, but... So,
Dominic Wazensky asks, or says his mom doesn't like long plane trips. What would be the best way to convince her to get on a plane? So do alcohol? A hoppy thing. Well, I mean, like there's that. Give her wine.
Give her wine.
But if you want to go like to Europe, maybe you could go and fly from New York to Iceland because it's not a terribly long trip. Spend a day or two there, and then Iceland to the mainland, the continent, and you'd have a little bit. You can break it up that way a little bit. So look for things like that where you can break things up.
So Heather Miller writes, "Will you ever vlog your holidays?" Well, we film like we do our usual like helping traveler stuff, but like people have asked us to do vlogs before. And we've done some, but it never really people
Didn't
really
take off. People
didn't take
didn't
off.
really caught into it.
Yeah, didn't get into it because most of our stuff is actually just help people travel on their own. And also we like I film like some stuff while we're walking around, but we really try to focus on getting to know the culture and experiencing the stuff and telling you about it. Because if I'm trying to film everything, then I'm not enjoying it. And I'm not getting to really experience it because I'm just.
And I get kind of cranky with that.
Yeah, so
I don't like my travel partner not to be my travel partner. Somebody asked, when did our kids start traveling?
6 weeks.
And they were both 6 weeks old the first time they got on a plane, and they've never really stopped.
So Zero Cool is back. Another super chat. Thank you very much. So Munich, Nuremberg, Wrocław, Krakow itinerary. What to add or subtract for 2 to 3 weeks? You can easily do those in 2 to 3 weeks. I would probably throw in going over to Bamberg when you're in Nuremberg, so like an hour from there. Krakow, go to Auschwitz, go to the salt mines, throw in some stuff there. That's what I kind of do there. I think you're fine. You have plenty of time to see a lot of stuff when you're there, so you are all good.
How frequently?
Wisniewski. So Dominic Wisniewski, I'm sorry I messed up your name, my friend. So that's how Polish names are. Okay. They're tough.
Would you go to Israel, Palestine, Jordan, Egypt, or Iran? So
yes.
we have plans, and we actually have tickets in hand to go to Israel and Palestine. And I'm hoping we get a day in Jordan because I'd like to go see Petra.
Yeah, so it won't be that much time in Jordan, but at least it'll be like a touch. It's kind of one of those things. See it a little bit, like, hey, let's go back to see some more, so we have a little idea when we're there. Next up.
What?
So Rachel M writes, Jocelyn, you often discuss buying clothes at your destination to fit in. How do you usually find where to go?
So I like to find, okay, so there's always Zara and H&M and things like that, right? And also those are pretty inexpensive. So that's easy. But I like to try to find like local stuff before I go, maybe like look up boutiques and things. There's one that I love in Paris. It's a boutique called Heroines, and there are a few of them
she's not watching now.
throughout Paris, and I think there's even one in London. But it's small, and they only make X number of each piece or whatever. But it's not overly expensive either. So I kind of like to just look at that stuff before I go. Look up boutiques and things and find what I like so that I know where I'm going and I can kind of plan it. If that helps.
Wandering Marine Veteran, thank you very much for the super chat. That's awesome. I really appreciate it.
That was funny.
So Mark Rain, favorite city or town in Ireland? Actually, I like Kinsale. There's Cork. It's right underneath Cork on the coast. You got the bay there. You got great little pubs, great music, totally cool feel there. I love that. I also love Kilkenny. There's a lot of places I really like in Ireland.
I like Kilkenny. That's probably one of my favorites. Christian Tucker is going on his first trip to Europe in April. How early should you be at the airport for your budget airline flights?
If you're talking in Europe, it's like if you're not checking anything, hour or two. Like,
you know what? I just generally, our rule is we are at the airport 2 hours ahead of time for whatever, and sometimes more. I mean, if we know it's a busy time, and there are times that are really busy at certain airports, so.
And the cheap airlines, if you're used to flying like Delta or United, where it's like, oh, you get a carry-on and a personal item. It's not that way on the cheap airlines. So you'll have to. So what you'll need to do is print out your boarding passes before, then go there and then drop off your bags and stuff. You're gonna have to do that. So I would give yourself some time. Was it April they're going? So it might not be too bad, but there's that. Gus Van Tucky, my 7-year-old daughter, hey 7-year-old daughter, wants to know what is the favorite place that you have gone to and why?
It's always a hard question for us. I really love Greece and I really love Nicaragua, and both because they're beautiful. Greece has so much history, and it's just the people are really kind, and the food is good. And I love Nicaragua because they're these beautiful paradise-like beaches, and it was only us on them. It was really nice to just have just us on this big, amazing beach. And there's a lot of hiking too. The kids really love that.
For me, I was just like, for me, it's like I love going to Italy because I get to relax. I mean, I speak Italian, a little Italian, so I can talk to the locals. I can see cool cultures. I love the food. That really is a nice thing. And my kids always meet like other kids to play with there, so that's a really nice thing. So for me, that's my favorite. But well, I also love Brazil, but that's you know another cool place.
What are the most traditional dishes in Portugal?
You're gonna have cod. Cod. There's a saying.
Bacalhau.
Bacalhau. There's a saying. A true Portuguese wife knows how to make codfish 365 days a year, and her husband will not be bored.
Her husband happy.
Yeah, I don't like cod that much, but you'll see a lot of cod. But they have porco preto, which is like Iberian pork. That's really good. You have sardines in the summer are good. Assorted, which is like a stuffing with shrimp in it. It's really good. There's a lot of nice stuff there, so you'll be just fine.
Oh, and also
The pastel de Belém.
Pastel de Belém or pastel de nata.
There's a lot of custard pastries there. There's good.
They're big fans of the custard.
Spiros William, would you recommend the Erasmus program? Yes, I would. For those of you who don't know what the Erasmus program is, that is the study abroad program for universities, and there's European universities where they send students all around Europe. I've taught hundreds of students that have been in the Erasmus program, and they've all had a great time. So I would definitely do that.
Yeah, I want to live in that lake in Nicaragua. I want to buy an isleta. That's my retirement dream.
So Wasim, did you guys visit North Africa? We've done I've been to Tunisia, and we've got Morocco videos and stuff like that. So those are only two. We're looking for Egypt probably in 2020. So we'll get some more stuff up there. But really cool place to be. People, I mean, it's a lot. It's really underrated how friendly and helpful the people can be up there. So that's one thing I would like to say.
Kansas girl, let's go shopping together.
So,
oh, Darian Glover, you must try
Darian!
spaghetti ice.
Yes, our buddy Darian down in Tampa. Buddy, good to see you. Say hi to the kids for us. Yes, Darian loves his spaghetti ice when you go to Germany. The thing is, you're going to have some specialties from those countries or a different twists on different things. So spaghetti ice, they take vanilla ice cream and shoot it through a strainer, and then they put strawberry syrup on top, and it really looks like spaghetti with meat sauce, but it's actually ice cream with strawberry sauce. So they call it spaghetti ice.
Darian has a slight addiction.
Yes, he has a slight addiction. Like
he loves it.
He loves it. That's actually how we met. We started talking about it. You only see it in German. That's right. So we do have that. Hey, from Manchester, good to see you all. Eden, good to see you here. So Olga, when are you going to Hawaii? Johnson was talking to our friend, and I was talking to her husband last night about that. So
you were? I hadn't gotten that part of the conversation.
Yeah, no, we were just talking. We were looking at prices, but the prices to Hawaii are like prices to Europe. So I'm like, So we got to find a affordable option there. Let's see. So should we finish with some scariest things? Let's see. The one person asked, what are some of the scariest experiences while traveling? So one, I flew over a hurricane in Europe around Christmas of '99, and the plane dropped 4,000 meters and dropped 1,000 meters, and I thought we were all going to die.
Same thing for me, but on the east coast of the United States, it was the remnants of a hurricane, and I thought I was dying. Oh, and then flying into Milan.
Oh yeah, you didn't know about that. She didn't know about the flying to Milan with the bumps you have with the mountains.
I didn't think about the Alps. Anytime you fly into a high elevation city, you're gonna have mad bumps. But I was pregnant with Liam. Mark and Caleb had gone to sit in front of me so that we could all have a little more room because it was a fairly empty plane. And all of a sudden, the plane just goes whoomph, and I'm like, and I reach up between the seats and I'm holding on to them, praying, crying, just thought we were gonna die. It was awful.
Yeah. And then I've been shook down by cops and border guards before, but never quite as scared as that. So one person, TSI Tuesday, please tell me what are the most traditional dishes in Portugal. I did just go through that a couple minutes ago, and the Geo Scholar's got a couple good ones.
He wrote a few on there
Cocida
too.
Portuguesa, which is like a bunch of boiled meats. Linguiça, which is a sausage. Arroz doce is a sweet rice. You can have the chocolate mousse is fantastic, but you're gonna have a lot of bacalhau. Codfish is the big one you're gonna have. A lot of great fish, robalo, dorado, sea bream, sea bass. Those are really good stuff. So you'll eat very well there. But my favorite is the porco preto. Very nice.
Nora, thank you for the advice. I will look that up.
So Mo Gaming. Late. Well, I'll give you another 4 minutes. We'll go for an hour and a half. We'll give another 4 minutes here so Mo Gaming can throw in a question.
We are Delta people.
Yeah, we're Delta people. Tyler, we have not been to Hershey Park. I've driven by it. I've seen it and going, oh, can we go there, Mom and Dad? My parents said no. So that's my experience.
That was when you were a kid.
Well, I was looking at colleges, and so we drove by. Like we never got to go anywhere when I was a kid. Our vacations when I was a kid was going to Ohio. So
do you prefer Portuguese food or Brazilian food? So I love Brazilian fruits. Like they just put it over the top for me. I do love Portuguese food. We live there, but the fruit in Brazil that's what puts it over the top. Yeah. And also caipirinhas.
I'm happy with both, obviously. So we got a couple of super chats here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Corey Wilkerson, thank you so much. Douglas, thank you again. So Corey writes, love how you include your kids on travel. So you just jumped up like 50 again. We try to do the same and it never gets old, seeing the kids experience new countries for the first time. Honestly, Corey, that's exactly it. Because, I mean, some of the places we've been multiple times, when we take our kids that first time, they see it and you're like, it's like seeing it again for the first time. And even if you don't have kids, I remember I took my aunt, my uncle to Europe for their my aunt's first time there, and she was seeing things and she was so excited. And it was just like made me smile just thinking about it. It's really one of those wonderful things. It's just, Corey, you're doing great stuff, man. You're doing great stuff. Douglas, you ever post a top 5 smartphone apps you love and hate when you travel? FYI, wife found the mobile passport app and got to go through diplomatic lane in Miami. Yes, so there are some decent apps out there. They change so fast. I've never really done a video for them. The kind of app, I will give you kind of like a theme of apps you should have. One, definitely have WhatsApp. WhatsApp it's owned by Facebook, and basically you can text any phone number in the world with it. And a lot of times, especially in South America, that's how you'll text like a taxi driver or something like that. So you want to have WhatsApp. Whatever airline you're flying with, have their app, because then you can check in, you can get announcements, you can track your bags for some of these. That's one thing you're going to have.
A map app.
A map app. And you can do Google Maps, but I'll warn you, Google Maps is not great outside the U.S.
And it's nice to have a map that you can access offline because you're not always able to do that.
Yes.
So
yeah, and you have those.
I use maps.me.
Yeah. Also, I would always recommend having a flashlight app, because you never know when you're going to need it. There's some right there that I would definitely recommend for it. Yeah. And yes, you could do the mobile passport one. Now, it's not accepted everywhere, but it can be helpful when you have those things. That's what I always say is, if you get the global entry or the clear or the TSA pre-check, those things really make your life quite a bit easier. So thank you. Hopefully that can help out some of you.
Yes, we've been to Lagos. If not, you have to go. Another nice town in the Algarve is Alvor. We've been all over down around that area. Yeah. You can't kind of live in Portugal for a long time and not see all that stuff. Yeah. So.
Oh, hey, Alex writes, have you guys ever been to Mackinac Island in Michigan? It's a wonderful place to visit with your family. It is. I was there visiting a friend of mine who was working there for the summer. And so we rented bikes and rode around the island and had the fudge and stuff like that. It was really a cool thing. Michigan's actually really nice. Like, you go up to Michigan in the summertime, there's a lot of cool stuff, except for the bugs. But there's
the person with the Russian name that I cannot read. I apologize.
Rex Pex Fex. Okay.
Anyway, are you planning to get a microphone? And yet we do. It's most of the ones that have bad sound are older videos. We have new microphones and more new dead cats. That's the fuzzy thing you put on the microphone.
Yeah.
So
anything that's been filmed the last couple of years will be a lot better. If you see anything older than that, that's when we have some of the sound stuff. So we're working on that. I'm talking to a guy about doing some sound stuff for us to try to like eliminate some of the stuff. Yeah. So we're trying to keep like up our game. So don't worry.
Tracy, is there any place that you haven't been that you want to go? The rest of the world.
Yeah, I'm like, for me, it's like, well, since we're going to Rwanda, Tanzania, we're going there already. Stuff I don't have booked. We got Israel, we're already going there. Egypt is number 1. Southeast Asia is a big one for me. I want to get to New Zealand.
It's the rest of the world.
Yeah, so it's like if you start with A and go down the list, all of them. So we want
best and worst airports. So we both love Schiphol or Schiphol. I don't know how you say it. I always say
Amsterdam,
it
the main airport in Amsterdam. That thing is so easy to get around.
We both love that, and we both really like Atlanta.
Chicago's not
hate
necessarily.
O'Hare, and I hate JFK. Beijing is actually pretty smooth, but it's just massive.
Yeah.
Tokyo. What's the one?
Yeah, we weren't in Narita. We were in the other one. We were like the smaller one.
Starts with an H, and that was actually really nice, very very smooth running.
Yeah, and they're trying to expand. That was the old airport, and they're trying to expand that one, so there's more flights going in that way.
Right.
So Dion Matthews, thank you very much for the super chat. Says, hey Mark, I visited Berlin last year and loved it. I moved to LA recently, but my next move I want to go to Berlin. How difficult is moving there? It's actually not that bad. housing in Berlin because the city or the country thought more people would move to Berlin, so they overbuilt. So it's pretty cheap to live there because of housing, and a lot of the work there is more freelance stuff. So if you're a freelancer or a digital nomad, if you want to be in Germany, that's probably the place to be because you got a lot of options and a lot of like kind of like groups you can be a part of that'll help you. So
Bobby
kind of a cool thing.
Valentine, that he said that the food used to be bad in Ireland.
I said it used to be,
like
Bobby.
it
Not
now.
anymore. I admitted my mistake. The food in Ireland, top notch now. The foodie revolution
Also,
really
it's
hit
just
there.
one person's opinion.
Yeah,
Food
so
is subjective.
yes, and watch my new Ireland videos. I am upfront with all of them, saying I am sorry. They have changed. I was wrong. So and that's the thing is that's what I like is like that's why we keep traveling back to these places to see them again because things change over time, and so you can say, hey, look. That was different. That's why you might watch the Love and Hates from 2012 and then the Don'ts from 2017 and be like, oh.
Anita, that's the one I was thinking of. I don't know what these things are.
What?
These two?
Do you go plane spotting?
I don't even know what that is.
Like you watch for planes?
Oh, no, I'm on enough of them. I don't need to do that.
Well, there's planes fly over our house, so we see
I
that.
don't need to be watching. And then what's the Denver,
the Denver airport
conspiracy?
Well, there's this well, that it was built to hide something because it's so far out. There's a lot of different stuff out there, but I like at the Denver airport, there's the Bronco that has the devil eyes, like.
Oh, yeah, that thing is kind of
so
scary.
there is, who knows?
Gosh, it's been a long time.
I try to stay away from the conspiracies because that would get me way too many views of really weird people. So they're like, doo-doo-doo-doo. But I still watch some of those videos for some fun. Mark, did you try Guinness when in Ireland, and what did you think? So, Mark, I'll tell you this. Anytime you eat or drink something from a country in that country, it will change you. Because I was never a huge Guinness fan. Like, I liked it, and then I had it there. I'm like, oh, my God, this is the greatest thing ever. But then when I tried to drink and have that same experience back in the U.S., it's like, oh, it's not the same. It's like having, like, after you spend, we spent so much time in Italy. Yeah, and then come back home, you're like, yeah, Domino's isn't going to cut it. And
I don't eat pizza in the U.S. almost ever.
Because we've been so spoiled over there.
I'm spoiled rotten, and it's a horrible thing. So.
So Reckless Powers, yes, we would go to Kosovo.
Oh, S. Darwin, we're going to Bordeaux too this year.
Yeah, in October, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So wine stuff. There's a lot of little canals there to check out. I haven't done a ton of my research yet because it's so far out.
I want to do one of those canal trips where you spend days on a canal. I think that would be cool. And wine.
Yes, wine. Chef Erwin, hey, going to Berlin in June. What place do you recommend for currywurst? Just go to a normal little kiosk standing out there that has sausages. They'll have currywurst there. You'll be fine. Get like the normal kind. You'll be good. You'll be good. No reason to go any place special for it. I mean, there's obviously places that are more famous for it. You can look those up, but you'll be fine. Traveling by yourself in Egypt, I don't know. We have not been there, so we can't say yet. But that's one of the places we really want to go. So we have that.
Hey, guy with a Russian name that I can't pronounce.
Do you guys have any plans to go to Japan?
Yes, we've been there. We were there year and a half ago.
Year and 2 months ago.
Something ago. And we loved it. We had a great time. The kids enjoyed it. Mark and I enjoyed it. We ate like kings. It's expensive. Mind that. But it's awesome.
So, Bobby, I'm glad your wife and you feel like you know us from watching our videos. That's one thing we do like. We do like talking to our fans and get a chat with them. I know we were down in Belize and Guatemala. We kept bumping into fans and fellow travelers all over and just chatting with them. It's a really cool thing to do. So if you do see us around, do say hi because we do like to talk to our fellow travelers. That is cool.
Thanks, Mike. That's precious of you.
You're annoying?
Apparently.
Oh, she's annoying? You don't know the half of it, Mike. Anyway, Alex Mays has been asking about Salem, Massachusetts for a while. I have never been. I don't know anything. I'm sorry. I suck.
Nicole Fun Laugh. Best places in China. What part of the Great Wall is best? So there are definitely parts that are really run down and there are parts that are really great. There's a really nice one right outside Beijing. Because it's right outside Beijing, you can imagine it is really packed. But when you get there, I would definitely look into a tour that would take you to a good one. Make sure you have a really good English-speaking guide. But, if you want to get outside of that, you can.
So let's see. Jason Roberts, right? Best way to learn Portuguese. It doesn't matter if it's Portuguese or any language. I usually recommend learn a foreign language. One, you got to take it seriously. It can't be just get a phrase book and try to memorize a few things. You got to take it seriously. So if you can take a class at your local community college or sign up, get one of those apps that'll help you. That's one of the things. Another thing is use YouTube to your advantage because you can watch all kinds of shows that you know really well in that other language and
That
sometimes
is
with subtitles.
hugely helpful.
That really helps. I used to watch The Simpsons and Star Wars. That really helped me with my German because I was like hearing it and I knew what was going on. That really helped. Also, if you read newspapers from that country, if it's the website for it, read it out loud so your tongue gets used to it. That really helps. But also, those are usually written for like an 8th grade level, so it's like decent vocabulary, so it gets you used to saying it. And if you can find somebody to practice with, like a tandem person, that can really help too. So
being around it, hearing it helps a lot. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Christy, Liam is doing a bit better. He's got 3 stitches up here. It was kind of gross, but he's doing okay now. He's worried about getting his stitches out now, but we'll deal with that when we get to having to take him to get that done.
Have you ever met any celebs while traveling? I ran into Akon once. That was cool. Mark?
Let's see. One time I was with my aunt and uncle in Berlin, and there was a boy band that wanted our seats, so they stood around us until we finished. That was weird. It was like
awesome.
Band Onanama, I think that was their name. But I mean, they were at least nice. They were just standing there because there's nowhere to stay. And we were getting ready to go. They weren't bad or anything. They were nice. But there's that one. Well, it's time for a kiss.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. And then let's see who else have I seen famous. I don't know. I haven't really. I saw when I was at VidCon. I saw Hank Green from SciShow and Eons and stuff like that, and Volga Brothers. I saw the Holderness family from the Christmas Jammies people. I've seen them. So, but I haven't really seen too many like famous people.
I saw a really famous Greek fashion model in Greece many moons ago. Okay.
So, time for a kiss. Thank you very much for the super chat. One question you would ask a travel expert, Rick Steves or Samantha Brown.
How do we get speaking engagements like y'all do?
Yeah, that would be how I do it. Because I've gone to a lot of conferences and stuff, and I'm like, do these people not practice their speeches beforehand? I mean, I'm like, and so I would ask them how I could get in with that, so I can help more travelers and get our names out there more. So, we got our 12-year-old's now up at 11:30. God, I miss being 12 so I could sleep until now. Instead of like waking up at 5 and having to pee. I'm going to guess most of you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, oops. TSI Tuesday. Each time I leave Rome, I get Vinci ice cream in Fiumicino Airport, then dread leaving to France. Any airport traditions you guys follow? Drinking a couple drinks when we get on the plane. I don't really have any. We cross the plane when we walk in. That's about it. So, prayer.
Airport traditions. Oh yeah, I have a certain prayer that I pray every time we get on a plane. There's that.
Mike, we've been on for an hour and 40 minutes today. So we've been on for a while. Spiros, I'm 14. I know Greek and English. Awesome. Tikanis.
Awesome.
I want to learn a new language. I'm between Spanish and French. Either one will be fine. We live in the U.S., so Spanish is way more helpful than French. In Europe, probably French might be a little more helpful than Spanish, but either one will help you learn the other one. So that's cool.
That's the thing is, and Mark says the third language is the hardest. I don't know. I don't have the third language, but he has a third and whatever. So he says the third one's the
because you start using the other, like your other foreign language as a de facto. Like, wait, once you get the third one down, then they just flow. Then it's really easy to learn because your mind like separates everything. Mo Gaming, have you visited the Middle East? We're going in the end of this year, or end of the fall this year. So we're going to be doing some stuff. Tracy Sylvester, have you done a top 10 tourist destinations in America? We do have a top 10 U.S., but that person was making the joke about the bad audio and stuff. It's one from back in the day, so we probably need to make a new one for that. So we'll get something there for you.
What do you think of food tours? You know what? I've done one food tour in Portland, Maine, and it was pretty good. It was a local thing, and they took us around. We got little bites here and there, and there were some really cool places that we visited. Really cool donut shop, like Hi-Fi Donuts or something like that. They were really good. And I remember the sticky rice place. Excellent food. But we got into places that we wouldn't have seen as tourists. They were definitely local things. So I really enjoyed that. And I wouldn't mind doing that more.
Haley, Privyet. Nice to see you as well. 6:40 a.m. in New Zealand. Welcome, 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 Pam. I hope you got a good night's rest. Will we ever visit Easter Island or the Galapagos Islands? Yes, we will. We did not get to the Galapagos Islands our last trip to Ecuador. It was just too expensive. We couldn't afford it. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. Like this,
it's
like
not
we
cheap.
don't. We don't. You notice we don't get too many. We don't get really any sponsorships, so we don't make as much money as a lot of the other YouTubers because we don't do that. So we can't afford to do things like that. That's why the super chats make actually when we say they make a difference,
They
do
make
make a difference. So thank you.
What goes into your trip planning process? Is there a
from
list? So there's always a list, and we always have sort of what we're prioritizing at the moment, but that can change based on stuff going on in the world, on our plans, our extended families' plans, and things like that. And the kids always get to have some input. We try to make it so that they each get a place that they have requested every year.
So like Caleb went in Jamaica.
Our list is fluid. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, it's very fluid. So a few other ones. Yes, Dion, we would love to go to Trinidad and Tobago. I have a buddy of mine who's from there who's trying to get me. I'd love to go there. Brindy asks, I came to learn about the trains in Italy, specifically Rome to Naples. They're like every hour. It's about 2.5 hours. It's easy to do, but if you're going to go see the Amalfi Coast, go stay in Sorrento. Use that as your base to go to Pompeii, Herculaneum, Amalfi, all those things.
The train from Rome to Naples, that's still one that you have to click.
Yeah, and you have to get a seat reservation if you're on the fast train.
Yeah.
You'll switch the Circle Vesuvia line at Naples to go to Sorrento. Do pay attention when you're there because there's a lot of people that are like...
It's kind of shady at that one. But you really should pack a small suitcase for that. Last time we were on it, there was an American family of 4, and they had, I'm not kidding you, 5 of the biggest suitcases I have ever seen.
Oh yeah, they come to here. I'm like, I didn't know those were illegal.
And then they also all had backpacks plus carry-on size things, and I was just, they struggled. It was horrible watching them. Like, but I let them live with it. Normally I would help people, but I was like, no, you know what? You made that bed. You're gonna lie in it. They could barely get their stuff. They couldn't get it on and off. I mean, it was awful. It was just terrible. So there, especially that that one. Thank you. That's a small regional sort of train, and you definitely need to have a small suitcase. It makes life easier there.
So Dominic asks, "Hey, going to New England? How would you compare Vermont to New Hampshire? Vermont's got better beer and less people. I mean, they're both Mountain View. They're both pretty. You're very similar. I really couldn't say too big of a difference, except that Vermont beer is better, to be honest. AV Portil, heading to Amsterdam. Any thoughts? You have plenty of great stuff to see and review there. The Red Light District, don't think that's the only part of Amsterdam. Actually, you don't even have to spend any time there to go have some good times and go see some amazing museums there. And actually, if you're going to be going to Amsterdam, you might look at staying in like Leiden or Haarlem and then taking the 20-minute train in versus spending triple the price to get a hotel or something in Amsterdam.
Although if it's in a shoulder season, I have gotten some really good deals on apartments in Amsterdam. And Amsterdam's probably one of my favorite European cities. I really enjoy that. So, Jimmy, my family is from near Corinth and near Sparta, generally speaking.
So, some couple of quick ones because we went on for an hour and 45 minutes and probably should do something today like shower. Why shower? You shower.
Showered.
We have showered. So, hey, we can go a couple more.
I'm starving. I haven't eaten a bite yet. It's 11:45.
So, we'll do some quick ones. Heather, our next travel destination, we're going to Jamaica. Actually, we're going to Springfield, but that's just for the day. But Jamaica's the next big one. Are you considering Patreon? We do have Patreon, Annika. If you go to patreon.com/Wolters World, you can help support us. So thank you very much. We have some cool stuff you can get there.
Some good
the mosquito repellent.
Mosquito repellent. I was trying to get the right word. Mosquito repellents. We use various kinds, and actually every one I've ever used, the little bracelet things, those are really good. So
show them your thing. Wait, go this way.
Liam's got a boo-boo.
That's where he got his stitches.
3 stitches. So those are really good. I also love, what's the one that's like sunscreen, it's the sunscreen and a bug spray that's really good that I get in the South.
It's green.
It's really good.
Off?
Anyway, no, it's not off. Anyway, look for that stuff because it's kind of nice that it has the bug spray and sunscreen together.
So my one buddy, my Privyet buddy, asked, what are your thoughts on Russia? We had a good time when we were there. It's a huge country. I mean, you can't see it all. So be flying where you want to go places. You can find it can be extremely expensive or it can be extremely cheap, just depending on how you do it. I would say if you're going to take the Trans-Siberian Railroad, bring some cards and some money to gamble with and a little vodka, and you'll have a good time. Anyway, we're going to take off. Traveling U.S. to France, so I need an international license. You don't really need it in France, but it's easy. I just have one just in case.
We
for the
always
heck
just
of it.
carry
Go
one.
to your local AAA. They can do that for you. Yes, Jocelyn does make Greek food, but she does a good job making it herself.
It myself.
So bullfrog, that's what it is. Thank you, Angela.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. It. Bullfrog.
Bullfrog's a good mosquito
right
repellent.
Yeah.
How bad is the mosquito situation in Costa Rica and Ecuador? Just have your sprays.
Just
should
be
okay.
ready for it. You'll be all right.
It's Mark. We are coming. We're going to be there later this year, so can't wait to see you there. Longest layover I've ever had. I had to sleep in O'Hare a few times, so it's been a while.
Go figure. It's O'Hare.
Yeah. Anyway, we wish you all a fantastic weekend and fantastic travels. Don't forget, starting in March, we'll have new videos every Saturday and Sunday and Wednesday, and maybe one will be a live feed. But we're trying to do at least one live feed a week through March, because that's when everyone's starting to get there ready for their summer travel, so we can help you out. So have fun. Go to Sintra, Paul. It's worth it.
There a lot.
And
it's good stuff. Have
a good time there. And we have been to the Baltics. I used to live in Lithuania for 3.5 years, and Tallinn is amazing. So thank you, everybody. Have a great time. Thank you for supporting us, all you super chatters. We really appreciate it. It makes a big difference. If you want to learn how to support us some more, go to patreon.com/Wolters World and find out. Otherwise, look up there. We got Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, all this Wolters World stuff. You can read our blogs down at woltersworld.com. All kinds of stuff there.
Bye. Right. I got to go eat some lunch. I'm starving.
All right. Bye, y'all.